in the paint. You've got some maybe more talented front court players in Jeffries and Dandridge. And then an improved Lomax and whatever else in the backcourt if Jones comes back. If Harris can get 8 open jump shots a game, he's a serious weapon.
And hit 4 of them.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah, and hit 3 or 4 of them. That's a game changer. So I keep thinking of Al Dillard from the late
Arkansas.
from the early '90s Arkansas team, mid '90s.
Yeah.
Just he was a guy that would kill you.
He was a gunner.
He'd be able to, or Rodney Newsom,
or Davor Remax.
a guy that just Rodney Newsom was exactly.
You remember him?
I'm trying to remember. Did Newsom play with Penny?
Yeah, 1 year, but I don't think he did. He didn't.
He kind of bridged the gap between the Penny teams and the Lorenzen Wright teams.
Yeah, but he didn't. I don't think he played much when he was on the team with Penny. I was looking at these box scores the other day around that time.
He was on a team with enough weapons that he would come in the game and
he had no pressure on him.
No pressure, and the defense didn't have the ability to focus on him.
Yeah.
And you know how it is when a shooter comes in the game. Yeah, you heard it in the scouting report, but you got 3 other guys you're worried about.
Right.
And before you even know what happens, before you can even call a timeout, they buried 3 in a row on you.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I agree with that assessment, Jay.
Thank you.
I'd like to see Wiseman spend a couple of weeks this summer at the Ion Sports Big Man Camp.
I was about to say, I'd like to see you draw up a play to talk about what I was just talking about, how they're going to free up Harris on the perimeter, maybe X and O it out. We'll get some.
I've already been working on some stuff.
Good.
Yeah. I just remember, I don't know if you remember this, like 10 years ago.
I remember everything. This is a steel trap.
You would always hear they're talking about a player like a upperclassman college big man. What did he do last summer? Where did he go?
He went to the Pete Newell Big Man's Camp.
The Pete Newell Big Man's Camp.
Yeah. Montrell Nash. He's going to be a changed player.
He went to the Pete Newell's Big Man Camp. You know who Pete Newell is?
A guard.
He was like a coach at Cal.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were always talking about going to the Pete Newell Big Man's Camp. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Steel Trap McGee right here. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got to talk about LeBron and the Lakers.
Please, for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, seriously. All right, we'll be right back after this. It's the Ion Sports with Meatball Jones.
The Pete Newell Big Man Camp. Have you ever heard of that, Mark? Yes, every year you got some stiff big man
Just
show
Cooling,
up in your
Just
program.
Cooling Refrigeration for all your heating and air needs.
Yes, it's
They
basically
specialize
like
in
that.
residential and commercial.
Except this guy was
Complete
like,
list
Pete
of
Newell
all the
was
services
legit.
they provide. Contact them at www.justoncooling.com. Again, www.justonecooling.com. They're licensed, bonded, and insured for over 18 years. Give them a call, 901-848-1772. You want to be cool? You know I do. Give them a call, 901-848-1772.
Hey everybody, the Ion Sports here to tell you about Advatech. Advatech is a local IT company that manages your business's computer network and technology. They make sure your network is secure to prevent any type of security breach which could possibly compromise your company's information or your customers' information. Advatech is a one-stop shop for any computer problems. No need to waste valuable time on calling tech support. One call, they will handle everything for you. Advatech can also help you save on average $500 a month on your office phones and internet costs by doing a vendor cost analysis for their customers. If you own a business and are tired of frustrating computer issues, call Advatech. Advatech, we are your IT department. Call 901-262-7925 or email support@advatech.com. ADVATEK, Advatech, 262-7925.
The wheels twist behind her.
Flying catch.
It's the big new Sidewinder cycle. Your parents put it together, and Sidewinder's got the stunt shifter. With sure grip steering, super sleek styling, and a stunt shifter that can spin you into excitement. Sidewinder, the wheels twist behind her. Sidewinder Cycle with Sun Shifter. New from Tonka.
I'm Mooney McCracken. When I found out little Billy here was growing up without a daddy, I had to do something.
When Big Aaron saw our picture in the paper, he called the Unified Fund and got involved.
I had to. I couldn't help myself. But little Billy's not the only one. There's also little Jason here. Once again this year, I'll be sponsoring a fatherless family in every city I'm born in.
Sometimes when I wake up in the morning, Mr. McCracken's already there.
Jonathan, we're a fly pattern all the way to the goal line. JC! Kentucky! Down the beach! Deeper, Jonathan! It's a tough world. These kids nearly got motioned, but they're back now. Through the Unified Fund, I found out that if you give a little, you can get back. Not more.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Eye on Sports with B-Ball Jones. Before we move on from Tiger Talk, aside from Tim Duncan being featured in the 1992 One Shining Moment.
Twice, maybe. He was the line where it says, you did your best, something.
Yeah.
He slaps Travis Best's ass. It was the Georgia Tech Sweet 16 game, and there was when the lyric is best, and it's Tim Duncan smacking Travis Best on the butt.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
God, it's such an emotional roller coaster when you watch a One Shining Moment.
Look, One Shining Moment was incredible. It jumped the shark a little bit when they did,
when they got Jennifer Hudson on there.
Yeah.
When they went back to Luther and
they brought
Oswald.
it back. It's fine.
They still don't show enough highlights, but it's fine. It's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking about Memphis basketball and recruiting and stuff like that. Jay, you got some scheduling notes for next year?
Yesterday it was announced that Memphis will play in the Phil Knight Invitational, the inaugural Phil Knight Invitational, although I thought they had done that before.
Yeah. So
that's Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, at the Moda Center in Portland at the beginning of next year, November 12th. Probably that'll be the first game, I would think.
What's on them shoes, boy? Nikkei? What is that, some kind of engine writing?
Exactly. Memphis will play Oregon in a doubleheader. Oregon State will play somebody in the other, Oklahoma.
Oh. I was going to guess Sam Houston State.
No, Oregon State, Oklahoma, Memphis, Oregon. That will be next year.
And that you said that's like the first game of the year?
Looks like it, November 12th.
You know what I'm thinking?
Let's head out, live hit from the...
I'm thinking road trip.
The Eye on
Seriously,
Sports.
I've never been to Portland. They got Voodoo Donuts out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, let's get Portland up. They got a lot of hipsters out there we can take around to a back alley and beat up.
Here's what we know about the Tigers. We'll come back to that, Ira. Here's what we know about...
Beating up hipsters?
Yeah, going to Portland, beating up hipsters.
I like it. Let's go back to it.
I'm not a fighter.
I'm not a fighter either.
Oregon to open the year. Ole Miss. After that, in Memphis. They have a game at Northeastern. That's on the books. They're in the Myrtle Beach Invitational. This is all courtesy of the Commercial Appeal. They're at UAB, to be determined. And then in December, they're at Tennessee, a return trip to Knoxville.
Hey, speaking of UAB, you remember UA Blob?
Sure.
Okay, just want to make sure. While we're on it, and I know we're going to talk about LeBron, not David Rudd, what's the guy's name? The Tom Bowen.
Athletic director? Your boss?
Yeah, he's not exactly my boss. He has mentioned that the football team will actively seek
2-for-1s.
2-for-1. You can't let me finish the sentence. 2-for-1s against Power 5 schools when it comes to football. And, where a lot of people might say, Memphis is a good enough whatever. What's the term that we hate?
Program?
No. The Power 6 or the other 6.
Oh, right.
Whatever it's called. Whatever they're called.
Power 5.
We're not part of the Power 5. We're part of the other group. The group of 5 or whatever it is. Some people might be like, we don't need to do that. We're good enough in our thing. We're top 25 team without doing that. I say do it. The more exposure you can get, plus even if you have to go to pick a team, let's say, hell, Oregon. Say Oregon. Let's say you had to go to Oregon twice over an 8-year period, and they came here. The one game they would come here would be huge. It would be a lot of fun for the fans.
A couple things. A, I agree. B, I'm not sure that teams will even do that.
There will be some that will.
Yeah, there may be some that will, but there will be plenty that won't.
Oh, sure.
That wouldn't even do a 2-for-1. That's off the books for these guys, because what they can do is they just buy games.
Right, look what happened to UCLA.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
They came here and took us.
They got their tails whipped by a bunch of
friggin' nerds.
Correct.
Yeah, speaking of my boss and my side gig as the public address announcer for the Memphis baseball team, they went on the road yesterday and lost 2-1 to Lipscomb. God, you ever wake up in the morning with just complete Lipscomb? Ugh, it's so gross. And then today and tomorrow, or today, Saturday and Sunday, they play at Western Kentucky.
Wait, who lost to Lipscomb?
Memphis, the baseball.
What's the record right now?
Right now, I think they're 4-8.
Eesh.
Yeah, they've lost some games they shouldn't have lost, but they got.
It's early.
It's still early. They got Western Kentucky. They need to get at least 2 out of 3 from Western. Then they're going to come back. Hey, listen, next week would be perfect. The weather should be a little bit better. Tuesday night and Wednesday night at 6:00 at the FedEx Park. I think one night you've got Mississippi Valley State coming in, and the next night you got Arkansas PB. I think it's Peanut Butter or Pine Bluff.
I think it's Pine Bluff.
Where are the deals on the hot dogs there?
Weekday games, $1 hot dogs. So next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. And then 2 weeks from yesterday, the 26th, 2 weeks from this past Tuesday, the 26th, maybe that was 3 weeks. Yeah. Whatever, the 26th at AutoZone Park against our arch rivals from down the road, the University of Mississippi Black Bear Land Sharks.
Okay, before we move off the Tigers, I want to give a shout out. What are you laughing about?
No, we've been moving off the Tigers for a while.
I know, but I got a text from our listener, Lewis. It's an article from The Athletic, which Mark subscribes to, so maybe he can read it to us and break it down. I can only read the first couple paragraphs. But it's by our friend over at the other station, John Martin. He writes for The Athletic now. The article is, Penny Hardaway doesn't just want to win, doesn't want to just win. He wants to look the best, too.
All right, we don't need to go.
I thought you were going to say he needs to bring joy.
We don't need to go any further into that.
You don't want to talk about his burgundy plaid sports coat?
No, because I don't care about that. You know whose coach's outfit I like the most?
But I think that's kind of the point. Yeah, whose?
I like Bob Huggins.
Yes.
I like Bob Huggins. I like what Bobby Knight used to wear. They're coaches. They don't have to wear suits. They don't have to look fancy.
Yeah.
They coach.
Example you set.
Yeah, he sets a great example for his other coaches, because Mike Miller is also looking pretty dapper on the sidelines, but whatever.
I don't care what he wears as long as he wins.
Yeah, that's right. What Al Davis say?
Just win, baby.
That's it.
And so far, so good.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah, whatever.
Wear whatever you want, Penny.
That's right. Wear whatever you want.
Although, don't wear red shoes at Cincinnati.
That was ridiculous. I couldn't believe that. That was so dumb. It was. I'm saying he should wear a throwback.
I think those were Ferragamos.
He should wear a number 25 throwback Memphis State jersey.
All right, how many pairs of Ferragamos do you have?
If you're referring to the old Nike cleats that Vince Ferragamo wore for the LA Rams in 1979, that would be 1 pair. If you're talking about the fancy dress shoes, that would be 0 pairs.
Where do you buy your shoes?
Usually online, Zappos.
Yeah.
Usually. I'll get some every now and then. These are some Brooks Launch, some good running shoes. Helps me run from one donut shop to the next.
Did you go on a jog this morning?
No, but I have to go somewhere later, so that may require some running.
It may require some shoes.
Yeah, I have a lot of shoes, a lot of like fashion tennis shoes, like different colors and stuff.
Yeah.
And I try and have a different pair of blue shoes for every Tiger football home game. And I do, actually.
Speaking of shoes, last night LeBron wore the the Jordan style LeBron 16s or something like that. I don't know, some Jordan style to commemorate Michael Jordan as he moved past Michael Jordan in the all-time scoring list. Ira, here's the question. You ready?
Yep.
Greatest of all time, Jordan or LeBron?
Exactly. Wouldn't you like to see, though?
No.
The first Jordans, the black, white, and red, but in the Laker colors?
I'm not a shoe person, but sure.
That would be kind of cool looking, though,
Sure.
I think.
Give me the pumps. Bring back the
Oh,
pumps.
my God, dude. I've never taken a pair of shoes back, ever, except for the pair of pumps that I bought. I was like, these shoes are horrible.
Horrible.
And the guy's like,
remember the air bubbles underneath the Air Jordans?
Yeah. And the guy was like,
sweet.
The guy was like, you can't really bring back shoes once you've worn them. And I'm like, want to bet? He's like, well, you're really not supposed to. Once you wear the shoes,
what were you, 12?
I was like 15, 16. I was on the Bucks.
Trying to get your money back.
Nah, dude.
Put this back and give me money check right now.
I go, dude, I did. I'm here with you at the store. You're the one that made me try them on. I tried them on. You didn't tell me they were going to feel like razor blades scraping the bottom of my feet when I try to run up and down the court. Well, sorry. I'm like, well, yeah, me too. Let's go. Refund.
Did you get the refund?
I mean, yeah, but I'm sure I bought another pair of shoes.
You're still waiting for it.
No, I bought another pair of shoes.
Mark.
Got that store credit.
Yeah, probably.
Mark, here's the question. Greatest of all time, Jordan or LeBron?
LeBaron.
You knew he was going to say that.
I know.
Mark's
All right.
typical millennial.
So, there's a lot of talk going on about how disappointing the season has been for the Lakers and how if they miss the playoffs, it's LeBron's first time since whatever his second year, third year, or something like that. And, I was looking at the box score for the game they played last night against the West leading or co-leading or second place. I don't know what they are right now. It's been changing day.
The Nugs.
The old Nugs. It's the Nugs. I'm looking at their roster, and so I'm like, okay, you want to compare teams. You look at it player to player. You go down the roster. You see who they have. You see who the other team has. Now, first of all, there's no player on the Nugs that's going to compare to LeBron James, obviously. Okay, but that can only account for so much. All right, the Lakers did not have Brandon Ingram, Tyson Chandler, Kyle Kuzma, or LeVar Ball last night. Okay,
Lonzo.
Oh right, Lonzo Ball.
They didn't have LeVar.
All right. Born ready, Lance Stevenson only played 9 minutes for whatever reason. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who I thought was supposed to be a big part of their team, he played 7 minutes. Okay? So you're going to start going down the list. You're going to say, okay, I'll put up Will Barton against Jason Hart. No, Will Barton's awesome. Okay? JaVale McGee against Jokic. That's a joke. Paul Millsap against, I don't know, Reggie Bullock.
Wait, so what's the point?
The point is that, do you really expect the Lakers to win even with LeBron? With the roster?
No, I kind of agree. I think a lot of the fault for this year falls on Magic Johnson, who put that roster together. It's like
Rob Pelinka.
No. See, I think that's the thing. They knew they were going to get LeBron. They wanted, I think, to clear cap space for this coming summer. That was kind of the thing. They signed a lot of those guys on a 2-year deal.
No, that's fine.
That's fine. But if your fans and the media are going bananas every day about how much of a disappointment it is, why don't you come out and say, look, I know LeBron doesn't want to hear this, but the fact is we weren't prepared to win this year. We know that. We're getting ready for next year.
On the other hand, I just feel like they could have done a better job, Mark, of finding one-year guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of one-year guys out there. They picked the wrong ones. But what are they going to do this summer? Break it down.
I mean, I think they're going to try to get a free agent. They might try to trade for Anthony Davis. I mean,
this guy's a genius.
I mean, I don't know who they're trying to get. There's a bunch of free agents. I don't know if they're going to go after Kyrie, Kevin Durant. They're still trying to get Anthony Davis. It's just like all it takes is one of those all-star elite guys to come to Lakers, and then you fill them around with 1 or 2 year players, and you have a really good team. I mean, that's the problem is
oh my God,
they have no other good player right now besides LeBron.
By the way, Kevin Durant, Laker, 2019.
That's your call?
Yeah.
What were you oh my godding about?
Did
you see a rat?
I did not see a rat or a mouse. I saw something much, much worse.
What's that?
It's right here on this table.
Oh, the Tennessee pin?
Is that yours?
No, but I've been touching it all
Okay,
day.
all right. I just want to make sure that you didn't bring that with you.
That's an embarrassment.
It's all right. No, as long as you don't own that pen personally, I can live with that. All right. Sorry.
I don't own it. I lease it.
You have an option to buy.
I have an option to buy.
Mark, do you own rubber gloves?
No.
Speaking of rubber gloves, last night I was able to attend a little event where we had a bunch of people together to make sandwiches to donate to a homeless shelter. There were between 180 and 200 people, many of which were small children between the ages of maybe 5 and 10, okay, and adults. How many sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, do you think were made in exactly 60 minutes?
By how many people?
Let's say 185, including some small children.
185?
Yeah. 185 people, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
7K.
I'm going to go with, let's see here. Let me do the number. This is what I do for a living. 185 people. We'll say...
That's what I do for a living, is calculating peanut butter and jelly sandwich making time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The kids really don't have good, they might make like 10 maybe, I feel
right. Let's, how long did it take?
1 hour.
1 hour. I think you should probably ought to be able to make 7 an hour.
7 an hour?
Yeah.
7 sandwiches?
Yeah, 7 sandwiches in an hour for the average person. Maybe 8. 8 sandwiches an hour.
What?
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 Are you talking about eating?
A peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Talking about eating them or making them?
Making them. I said making them. Why would we eat sandwiches for the homeless shelter?
Well, he said eat.
No, he said
that's
make.
Like how are you saying you're only going to make 8 in an hour?
And I could make more than 8 in an hour, but you're talking about little kids talking. I mean, was it just like, It
was a free-for-all, let's make some sandwiches.
Was it like a competition?
It wasn't a competition, but the people were like trying to make them as fast as they could.
60 minutes. Okay, maybe 20 an hour.
We need a number here, Jay.
Yeah, give me a number. How many did the whole group make?
How many people? 185?
You can use the numbers like 4 times.
I know.
Let's see. I'm going. You've got the actual number?
Yeah. I was there.
I'll say 4,100.
No. Mark was closer. It was about 6,200.
What'd Mark say?
7,000.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a lot of sandwiches to send over to a shelter.
It's a lot of supplies.
Well, yeah, people donated the supplies. And so here's the key. If you're ever going to be in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich speed making competition, take your peanut butter and your jelly,
mix them together,
and then you just pop them on the sandwich.
I wish they could have seen your mixing motions.
Right? The stuff was already mixed up. We didn't have to do it on the spot.
Did you buy the jelly and peanut butter together?
No.
Wait a minute, it was all mixed up together?
The peanut butter and the jelly mixed together. There were like 20 long tables, and each table had bread, knives, a tub with the peanut butter and jelly already mixed together.
Wow.
And then...
Who did the mixing?
Ziploc bags. And then someone did it beforehand. And then once you dumped all your bread out, you put the Ziploc sandwich bags back in the long bread bag and tied it up, and they put them in the freezer.
People wear rubber gloves?
Absolutely. It was very sanitary.
Good.
Yeah. But it was a lot of fun. We got to take a break, but God, I was going to tell you about. I guess I'll try and remember where it was during the break.
All right. That's why we have breaks.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, maybe some retro news, maybe not.
Call the show, 452-3094.
Yeah, but make sure you have something good to talk about.
Yeah. We're not just taking any call.
Or we will. We'll be right back.
All right, you're up. What? You're up. Are you leaving? Yeah. Oh, okay. Great.
Just cooling. It's that time of year again. We're
How long is
Just
the
Cooling,
commercial
called
break?
Just Cooling Refrigeration for all your heating and air needs. They specialize in residential and commercial. For a complete listing of all the services that they provide, contact them at www.justonecooling.com. Again, www.justonecooling.com. They're licensed, bonded, and insured for over 18 years. Give them a call, 901-848-1772. You want to be cool? You know I do. Give them a call, 901-848-1772.
I have a very honest golf instructor. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. My instructor is Marty Fulton, a PGA Life member whom you may remember from Plantation, Whispering Woods, or Holiday Golf Club. When I asked him what I might do to improve my game, Marty, what did you tell me?
Sheldon, I told you to get your clubs together, put them in your car, then take them to the nearest lake and toss them in.
Great, Marty, you're a big help.
Sheldon, you're far better at selling homes than you'll ever be at golf. That's why people often say when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
Thanks, Marty. And if you or someone you know is thinking about selling their home, you should talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and make sure that I am one of them. Find out the difference in what they do in my highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option. You or they can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Sheldon Rosengarten at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now.
Don't buy wigs that come off at the wrong time. Maury's wigs don't come off, even underwater. And remember, Maury's wigs are tested against hurricane winds. Don't forget about money. You can afford a Maury wig, price to fit every budget. So call me now. And come in for a personalized fitting.
Hey everybody, the Ion Sports here to tell you about Advatech. Advatech is a local IT company that manages your business's computer network and technology. They make sure your network is secure to prevent any type of security breach which could possibly compromise your company's information or your customer's information. Advatech is a one-stop shop for any computer problems. No need to waste valuable time on calling tech support. One call, they will handle everything for you. Advatech can also help you save on average $500 a month on your office phones and internet costs by doing a vendor cost analysis for their customers. If you own a business and are tired of frustrating computer issues, call Advatech. Advatech, we are your IT department. Call 901-262-7925 or email support at advatech.com. ADVATEK, Advatech, 262-7925.
Jump again! Here we go!
Nice tune. Welcome back to the Ion Sports with B-Ball Jones. Final segment of the day. AM 1600, AM 730, YouTube Live. Ira, you mentioned the birthday of Sensei Kreese.
I did.
You know that guy's name?
Ron Hove and Hove.
Martin Kove.
Hove. I knew it was Hove something.
He's on Twitter.
Thank God.
And is he in the... It looks like he's in the updated Cobra Kai series.
I believe he is, but I have not watched it yet.
Season 2 coming out. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Season 2. Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. He turned 72 yesterday. Rob Reiner, also 72.
Rob Reiner from?
MSNBC.
What?
Yeah, guy's on all the time.
Really?
Oh, dude, he's the biggest. He's the biggest liberal you've ever met.
Dude, I don't watch.
Rob Reiner was he was a director, right?
But he also acts, and he's in, he was in.
All right, guys, settle down.
What's that movie with Hanks? Isn't he in those movies? The You Got Mail or You Got Served or whatever?
Yeah, maybe.
Romantic comedies. Oh, let me tell you, I remembered what I wanted to talk about.
Oh, good.
Quickly, Jay, you're at the house. You got the heat turned down. At what temperature on the thermostat? Or not? It's not. You don't look at the thermostat first. You're sitting there on the couch and you're like, "Damn, I'm freezing in here."
Mm-hmm.
And you get up and you go to check the heater, and you look at the thermostat. What's the thermostat saying at the point where you're like, "Damn, I'm freezing up in here"?
Probably 69.
Okay. So I've been doing like a straw poll. I've talked to a number of people. Basically, the consensus is like we'll say between 60 and 70. Someone says they're freezing up in their house. For me, it's a lot lower than that. I like to keep it cold in my house. I'm usually at like 64. If it gets to 60, then I'm like freezing in the house, which is fine. But I had someone call me yesterday, a tenant, and they're like, "It's freezing in here. Our heat's out." I'm like, "Wait, we're going to get your heat fixed." I had the heating company go out. They're going to have to replace the whole furnace. Okay, whatever. That's the price you pay for being a landlord. But she called me yesterday afternoon, and she goes all bent out of shape because some of her sockets, the fuse went out. And she didn't know how to change the fuse. It's those screw-in types.
I understand, yeah.
And because they had all their wall heaters plugged in. So I go over to the house. They got no heat for like 2-3 days, and it's been very cold outside. So what do you think the temperature in the house was?
I don't know. I mean, if the heat's been out the last 2 days,
take a guess.
45.
Try 79.
Oh, because they've been running space heaters?
And all the burners on the stove and whatever. And I'm like, don't call me. I mean, I go, look, no offense. We're trying to take care of your problem. But no offense. Don't call me and tell me you're freezing when it's 79 degrees in here. That's 15 degrees warmer than it is in my house, and I got heat.
Well,
dead on, bulls, accurate.
And I understand people are different. You might be cold or whatever. But here's the thing. If you're walking around in short sleeves,
you're not that cold.
Put on a jacket.
It's
put on
fair.
a sweatshirt,
Oh, my God.
I think that's fair. What happened?
No, nothing is a work thing. Ira, March 6, 19...
It sucks that work has to get in the way of our fun here.
Absolutely. March 6, 1983, the first cell phone to be offered commercially went on sale to the public.
All right, 63, 73?
83.
Oh, 83.
The Motorola Dynatec 8000X. Retail price was?
$1,799. Like $1,700.99.
Try again. Way low.
I'm way low?
Yeah.
$38.99.
Much closer. $39.95.
Yeah, I figured it was about that much. Let me ask you this. Was that the kind that had the suitcase with it? Or was that just a block?
No, that was the block. That was the block that, like, Michael Douglas used in the movie, whatever movie he was in.
Holy cow! So, do you remember when your family had their first cell or car phone?
Yeah, I do. My dad had one. Our listener.
He had a car phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad had.
And a ponytail. I hope he doesn't mind me saying.
Yeah, I remember that. My dad had a car phone, and it was like, oh my God, can we please call Mom? Can we please call Grandma? Can we please call somebody? He's like, it's a minute for every time you call, and it's a minute for them to call you. I mean, it's $1 for every minute, and I mean, those things were like insane. But they were, they were using it for business. So, but it is funny to think back about the old cell phone. And the truth is, my cell phone number that I have now, that I've had I think I've had it for 20 years, was actually a cell phone number that was actually a car phone first.
Yeah, they used to make them that way.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, though, that I got the same number.
You've had it that long?
Yeah, I called up one day to T-Mobile, who I use, and they were like, yeah, thanks for calling us, Mr. Lipsy. You've been a customer since, oh, my God. And I was like, yeah, I know. And she was like, no, seriously, is this true? I'm like, yeah, I was with you guys when it was like called Voice Stream, and the phone was in the car. And she was like, I was only born like 3 years before this number was invented. Like, she was like, I was born in 96, and you've had the number since 99.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
I'll tell you that your number is one of the only few numbers I know by heart because you've had it that long.
Yeah, I don't know that many numbers, especially on the cell phone.
You, Ferdy.
Once you give
my sister,
numbers, you want to hang on to those babies.
Yeah, those are choice. It's like the people with Gmail accounts, like just their first name, Ed at Gmail, because they got in.
They got in on the ground floor.
Yes, I know some people like that.
Really? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I know somebody that's just like very common first name at Gmail.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got any other retro news?
It's not Ed. Yeah, I sure do, Ira. March 6, 1987, Lethal Weapon was released in theaters. Discussed yesterday.
We did?
Well, we discussed it in terms of the writing teacher from the movie, just one of the guys.
Oh, right. Jarvis.
Kenneth Teagar.
By the way, Jarvis was his name in Lethal Weapon 2 when he was on the bomb squad.
Kenneth Teagar, really a great actor.
Yeah.
Ira, March 6, 1987, this film... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. March 6, 1987, I can tell you exactly what movie it was.
Go ahead.
Raising Arizona.
What are you on the same Twitter account?
No.
How do you know that?
I know. I'll tell you how I know, because yesterday, I was going to tell you this before you start saying what you were going to say. I was on this site, and it was talking about the number one grossing movie per state.
Yeah.
Okay? And coincidentally, or not coincidentally, Raising Arizona was the number one highest grossing movie in the state of Arizona, like of all time.
Yeah.
And then it just happened to say that it was released.
Interesting.
You know, whatever. So,
have you ever seen a movie in Arizona?
I probably have, because we were there on a family vacation. There's only so much you can do at night, and this was probably like in 1990. So, like, my brother would have been, like 11.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably did go see a movie in Arizona, but I couldn't tell you what it was.
I spent a few nights in Arizona with our mutual friend Hefe out in Phoenix.
Oh, Hefe. I was thinking about him the other day.
In the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And we saw it was leading up to the 2004 election, and we went and saw Fahrenheit 9/11.
Oh, that sounds like a great date. What was the nature of the trip with you and Hefe in Arizona?
No, I was out there for personal reasons and ended up spending a couple nights with him.
Okay. Was he living out there?
Yeah, he lived out there post-college.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was his sort of first job, or one of his first locales, before he ended up back in the Midwest and finding his bride and so forth.
Good guy, old Hefe.
Oh, terrific guy. Absolutely.
I meant to ask him, I meant to send him a message about, I used to see his dad at all the Tiger games. I haven't seen him this year. I have to see what's going on with that.
March 7th, 1986, the series finale of this show aired. This show began in 1978. It ran 8 seasons, spanned 189 episodes.
Started in 78 and ended in what year?
86.
Ooh, I'm going to have to go with Different Strokes.
You're correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, that's impressive.
Yeah.
And, of course, as I'm sure I've said many times on this show, who sings the theme song to Different Strokes?
Who does sing the theme song to Different Strokes?
Wrote, composed, and sang it.
By who?
Rest in peace, Alan Thicke.
It's a good song. Did you like the show?
Let it go. Yes, it does. All right.
Yeah, we produced the show ourselves here, folks.
Yeah. No, Alan Thicke. That's his song. Did I like Different Strokes? I did like Different Strokes. It's a good show. And then, of course, the spinoff.
Silver Spoons?
No. Give you another guess.
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. Edna Garrett.
That's not a good hint for me.
The Facts of Life.
That's a spinoff of Different Strokes?
Edna Garrett, the house mother or whatever in Facts of Life, she was the Drummonds, she was the housekeeper.
Really?
For Arnold and Willis and Kimberly. And then she left to go work at the girls' school. And I think maybe Kimberly was going to go to the school. What was that?
Hang on, I'll show you. Also a good theme song.
Did you used to watch Facts of Life?
I did like Facts of Life.
Who's your favorite Facts of Life girl?
Tootie.
I mean, was there anyone really better than Tootie?
No.
Tootie.
Tootie.
Love Tootie.
Tootie from Facts of Life or Tootie from Goodfellas?
I'm going to have to go with Tootie from Facts of Life on this one.
Amen.
I love Kim Fields.
Yeah.
You know what? And the truth is funny is...
All those girls, by the way, anorexic cokeheads.
Except
all of
Tootie.
Except for Tootie.
She is the only one who ended up having like a real career. After that. She was in, I think, Living Single. Is that right, maybe?
We're going to find out.
I think it was Living Single that she was on.
I'll give you $5 if you can tell me Tootie's fictional first name and last name without looking it up.
But what was her name on Facts of Life, but her real fake name?
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
Because Tootie was obviously a nickname.
Yeah, that's going to be... you know what? I really... No idea.
Dorothy Tootie Ramsey.
Yeah, there was no way I would have gotten that.
Wait, you said Facts of Life was a spin-off from Different Strokes?
Yeah.
Facts of Life ran from 79 to 88, so it spun off like
the first
a year in.
Yeah.
I see. Usually I think of spin-offs as like picking up where the other one left off.
No, well, sometimes, but sometimes not. Like, because the whole key to the spin-off, the whole key to the spin-off is they try and spin it off while you can still grow on the popularity of the current show.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I will tell you that you just reminded me of the scene in Office Space where he says, so if you don't take the specs from the customer, you clearly then take them to the accounting department. And he says, no.
Well,
sometimes.
So you don't physically take them to the customers? Well, sometimes.
What would you say it is you do here?
Oh, what would you say you do here? I'll tell you in 1 second if I can find it. You had to ask me that, and now I can't find it.
I'm a people person?
Yeah, I have that.
I am a people person, Ira. That's what I do.
I have people skills. What folder is that? I'll tell you what, man. I like that kid that was working for us, kind of, for a minute.
Yeah,
but he...
be careful. He could be listening.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying he put all this stuff in, like, these folders, and I can't find any of this stuff that we had.
The hell with it.
I can't find that one either.
I can't find it. The hell with it.
Oh.
I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
I have good people skills. Yeah. As he yells at them.
Simkowski.
That's so me.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that is you.
I'm good at dealing with people, you jerk!
All right, we got 30 seconds left.
We do?
Yeah. Tomorrow, of course, we're going to preview the senior day for University of Memphis. We might have to talk a little bit about the Memphis Express. I don't know. Anything else, Jay, you want to
add? Kim Fields' net worth, Tootie, $8 million. Does
she need a boyfriend or a husband? We got to go. Adios, muchachos.
A lot of them don't know.
Why wouldn't you wear socks?
Because the shoe is so light. I guess it feels like you're wearing a sock. I don't know.
I guess so. Why carry the extra weight of 2 socks?
Yeah.
When you don't